the question they're raising is not why Israel needs America, is why America needs Israel. So, of course, Israel needs America, but the point to answer is the opposite point. Why does America need Israel? And it will not take 2, 3 years to replace Israeli engineers. There isn't a country in the world that has this. Name it. Find it. It doesn't exist.
All right. So first of all, please understand that I'm a Zionist and a big fan of Israel. And when I'm talking about how much more powerful United States is, this is not a way to dismiss Israel. Okay, Israel is a very advanced country with the right values, very powerful relative to most other countries in the world, if we don't count United States, right? Uh, People with the right value, people who are fighting for life, people who are fighting for survival, people who work very hard, people who are very productive, people who are very smart, and people that every time you bet against them, you would lose, right? So I love Israel, and I want to defend Israel, but we don't have to fool ourselves, right? Israel, I know you guys know. I mean, I hope everybody here knows how much Israel needs America, and we need to understand the relationship. We need to be realistic instead of just being, you know, letting our pride getting in the way of what reality is. It would be nice to just say that Israel could just do these things without America, but no country. This is not just about Israel. No country can survive without America, right? Not even China can survive without America, let alone Israel. And then when you say um, there's no other country that does can do this, United States can do this. So if United States didn't have Israel, you say like, well, these are Israeli takes. There's no other country that has that. United States can do that itself. It doesn't need another country. It's better to do it with Israel because it's always better to trade. It's always to use the a competitive advantage, the comparative advantage that you have. It makes sense financially. It's advantageous. It's beneficial for United States to let Israel do it instead of doing it in house, but it's not necessary, right? For Israel, United States is necessary. For United States, Israel is beneficial. It's an advantage. It's not essential. It's just beneficial. So if we take Israel away from America, it will suffer, but it will be okay eventually. It will cost United States a lot of money, but it will be okay. It will cost it billions of dollars, but it has billions of dollars. People will feel it financially, but not to the point that United States is going to go poor or bankrupt or anything like that.
No, but we're
And
addressing the question: what benefit is Israel to them? This is all. I'm not saying
yes,
that
but
America will
again,
disappear off the
I
planet
understand that.
because of Israel. That's all.
Yeah, but I'm saying that it's a matter of benefits rather than survival. So this is what we need to understand. The relationship for Israel, United States is a matter of survival, not just
We
benefits.
know that,
For,
but we're trying to answer a different question.
yeah, well, okay, so you say you know that, but the way that we started this conversation was with the understanding that we have alternatives. Like this is how
No,
this
no,
conversation started.
no. I
But
was
we don't
answering
have
the question.
alternatives. I know, but
Well,
I'm talking about the general conversations that we had at the beginning of how this conversation started. Is like we were talking as if Israel lost United States as an ally, there are alternatives.
no,
Israel
I
could
was not.
go
No,
and
I didn't say that. I did not say that. I was
you
answering
okay.
the
Let me
question
respond
that
to what you said. Let me respond to what you said. You said what would if Israel? This is specifically what you said. If they lose Israel, where would they go? There's no other country that does what Israel does. We could say the
correct.
same thing about Okay, we could say the same thing about Taiwan, right? We could
No,
say the same thing about Taiwan. Taiwan
no.
was making chips. No,
Okay.
we
Musa,
were
I'll queue you on the list then because I think you have lots of response to that. So I'll just queue you to the
yeah.
list.
So we were Taiwan for a very long time looked like it was making things that chips that semiconductors and chips that only Taiwan was could make. No one else could make it. And then because it seemed like China at some point might invade Taiwan, United States decided to bring a lot of those manufacturing of whatever the Taiwanese semiconductor manufacturing company was making, to bring it to the United States. And now they're slowly, it takes taking them a long time because they're very complicated, but now they're making them in America, and they're going to continue growing that industry in America. Anything tech wise, United States could make in America. It would be better if they didn't make it in America, because it's
Final
always
point.
better to. All right. So I actually have a lot more points. So I'll just go one point.
Okay,
Yeah.
fine.
So I'm gonna leave it for.
Samantha.
I just want to respond to Cat Lady. Oh, you're saying that I know Israelis love America. I know that, I've seen the stats, but I'm also responding to what you said here. Like, oh, the American, like the West is being, um, I didn't know what you said about them exactly, but you were suggesting that they are being ungrateful or insulting or something. And I think that that's not the case. Just because we watch Nick Fuentes and Mamdani, Americans are still pro-Israeli on average. So we should recognize that, I think. Oh, you mean Europe? Okay. Yeah. Well, I'll respond to that later when it's my turn.
Samantha.
I don't know. I don't think Israel absolutely needs the US. I think, like, I just don't think it needs it. Like, I think it, like, I just, yeah, like, no, it would be bad for our economy and all of that, but like, I don't think, and like, what's it called? I feel like it's gonna unfortunately happen at some point within like the next 50 years or so. Like, we're gonna have a president who just cuts ties with Israel. Like, I think it's inevitable to the point where it's like, it's better off we just accept that it's going to happen at some point, and we, like, put energy in preparing for, like, when it happens, that we're okay, that we have enough ammunition to figure out, like, what our next moves are, and that, like, we've, like, tried to, like, foster other relationships and trade with other, like, I think we're better preparing for it than trying to, like, prevent it, because it's gonna happen. I'm just looking at the political climate, I'm like, and just trajectory, I'm like, "There's no way it's not gonna happen, that we're gonna have, someone who, like, just totally cuts off relations with Israel." And even, like, still, like, at the very least, like, we're definitely gonna find a scenario where, like, like, the US ends up with a president who, like, totally refuses to, like, sell any ammunition to Israel and, like, help Israel at all in the UN, or be, like, an ally with Israel at all. Like, it's gonna happen sooner or later. So, like, you're shaking your head no, but, like, it's gonna happen. I would be very shocked if, like, if there wasn't a president of the US within the next 25 years who refused to sell any ammunition to Israel or help Israel at all in the UN.
All right, 30 seconds. Do you have anything else?
No, that's it.
Okay, fine. So it is me now. What I'm getting from much of this discussion is, and maybe I'm that type of guy. I'm always looking for the feely touchy touchy, how to get to people, how to understand people. And I think that there's lots of Israelis and Jews who would not object to the idea that if we would have an alternative in dark times like Kamala Harris, we could have gone to this place. But we don't have it, guys. You wish that you have it, but you don't. I'm sorry to disappoint. We don't have it. You would like to think that we have it because Kamala Harris could come. I agree. That would be scary. But we can't trust the Russians. We can't trust the Chinese. We can't. It's they're crushing countries for sport. Russia in the 90s, I don't know if you remember what they did to Bosnia. That was brutal, and they was supposed to be under them and blah blah blah, and just they crushed them in 2 weeks. Uh, you don't do business with these kind of people, and I think that we wish, but we don't have. But we do have something else that I would argue. I would say that our foot here in the Middle East, with our values, our technologies, and all of that, is what makes us a good ally and a good friend. Because if it's not us, and tomorrow we will fall to a bunch of jihadis, okay, these jihadis would be nuclear with Merkava tanks. It's not something that you want. Greece would not like that at all. At all. Okay? So that's my point. And we are moving to Duck Dodgers, then Mossad, and then Dajjal.
Oh, did I not raise my hand?
You did, but it was a busy night. Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Hey, hey guys.
Hi. Hey.
Hey. Yeah, so I'll try to be very short here because I can ramble sometimes, but I was just gonna go towards the loyalty factor. I mean, Israel, in my opinion, I also came in late. But Israel, of course, it has to offer a lot. America has to offer a lot to Israel. But I think one of the key points that, for as an Israeli, at least I feel that it's sort of like a blessing and a curse at the same time, and something that I've been really seeing hardcore since October 7th. Um, is the fact that we're incredibly loyal. We're a very loyal people. We're a very loyal country. We're full of quality. We're not just like some shitty, cheap quality country. You know, we're a collective group of a lot of history, a lot of backgrounds, a lot of culture. I think that kind of shows why we could be so successful in different various things, whether it be technology. We have intel, security. We have a lot, um, and America knows that. And I think they also kind of take advantage of us with that. So I feel honestly that this is sort of a love-hate relationship where I could see like down the line that possibly, right, we can break up. But I think we're really the only reliable country right now in that general area, and everybody's always trying to be the the OG. America is trying to hold on for that for dear life. I don't really think as an American, we could really trust the Europeans. No offense, but they could be pretty bratty. Um, you know, we don't really have a lot of other like people that we can support, or I mean trust to support us. So I think that the loyalty is an advantage and a disadvantage at the same time, especially for the country of Israel. And I think as an Israeli, I'm just going to say that we should kind of look for kind of taking care of our own, um, you know, as much as we can when it comes to like making weaponry and just kind of like boosting up whatever we can more on our end, so we don't have to feel like we're fully reliant on America. And we also can't have America continue to make us feel like we're their little bitch, you know. And that's really what the groypers keep saying. Is that fully the truth? I mean, look, you know, there's a lot of truths and there's a lot of misleading stuff, but I think there's both of a reliance on both countries. America's just stronger right now, larger and obviously richer, but with all of the vultures out there, as you can see, and people going against America in a lot of ways, we could see that. In the end, they're going to need some kind of something, and I think
Duck
they're kind
Dodger,
of,
final point.
yeah, that's really it. So I think we kind of have a noose as Israelis on our necks, but we should maybe kind of try to put that to our advantage. That way, you know, we're protecting ourselves overall. That's it.
Okay. I agree with a lot of it, by the way. Dajjal, please. Did I open your mic? Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I agree with you. I think you guys. I think you do have to. I think Israel does have to become more self-reliant, simply for your own interest and ours. Because as pro-Israel as I am, and I have no problem with the relationship we got, but there are people who aren't, and you need to plan for this, because we're going to get another anti-Israel retard into office eventually, and they're going to cut you off, and if you're not prepared, you might be going through some pain. So you need to make other plans now before that happens. As far as making an alliance with other nations goes, like Russia and China, yeah, you can't, like you said, as you can't trust them. And frankly, as an American, I don't want you going to those guys because that's not good for us, and I don't think it's good for you either. I don't want these countries to take advantage um, at all. Also, the European, you talk about the Europeans. It's interesting. I think the right wing Europeans are actually more pro Israel at this moment than even the American right in some ways. Um, I mean, look at Orban, in Hungary. Um, a lot of this, some of his biggest supporters are Jews, and he's been reaching out to Jews, even Marie Le Pen. And if you know anything about her lunatic dad, that's a pretty big shift. So I think there's some hope there. But yeah, we got to get prepared because there's some shit coming down the line, and it's going to hurt both of us if we're not prepared for it.
All right. You got 30 seconds. Anything else?
No, I'm good.
Okay. All right. So we have Armin, Mossad, Joseph, and Savannah.
Okay, I have a lot of points. It's going to be hard to make it in the time that I have. So okay, um, when you Jewish Samantha, when you said I just don't think Israel needs the U.S. Okay, and your argument for that is I just don't. Okay, I just don't is not evidence. It doesn't, because every single statistics and data and analysis shows that that is wrong. So just, I mean, I wish you were right. I would love that to be right. I mean, as an Iranian who doesn't like America holding Israel back, where every time they're coming out and attacking the Islamic Republic, I wish that was the case. But that is not the case. Israel definitely needs America, and it's good for Israelis to recognize that. And this is why I'm talking about this, because you guys tell me, like, oh, I mean, you don't need to convince us. Well, that's not what I know. Many Israelis recognize and appreciate America, but some Israelis think that Israel doesn't need America. And that's dangerous because Israel does need America. We need to, and more Israelis need to know that they need America, right? Because every stat says otherwise, right? So, and also when you say the US will eventually cut ties with us, and it's going to happen, if again, just going with gut feelings. So, cut ties, I don't think the United States is going to cut ties. Are they going to reduce? So, this is a spectrum. We shouldn't treat it as a binary. Okay, we should treat it like someone's mic is open. I'm hearing some background noise. So, yes, the spectrum is going to go towards being less pro-Israeli. But luckily for us, United States is not a democracy, it's a republic. So just because you see some anti-Israeli views increasing, that doesn't mean that all of a sudden United States is going to cut ties with Israel, because it doesn't make any sense. Yes, the relationship is going to be more difficult with a Groiper president or a Mamdani like president. But the president of the United States is not a dictator. It's not it doesn't have absolute power. There's so many different institutions. There's so many checks and balances. And there are leaders of industry. There's money talks, and that's a good thing, because usually industry leaders understand long-term cost benefits more than your average voter. So it's a good thing that they have an influence over politics, because they are a correcting mechanism over how much the tyranny of the people might want to take the policies of the country to a one direction. This is why America works, right? So the reason why the ties is not going to, even though United States can survive without Israel, its relationship with Israel is so beneficial that it's going to maintain it. Because cutting ties with Israel doesn't make any geopolitical sense, it doesn't make economic sense, and it doesn't make any military sense. Israel is a great ally. What and it is such a great ally that United States would not get rid of it, even if it has a Groiper president, right? It will be more difficult, but yeah. And also, if I agree with Israel becoming more self-reliant, okay, but not
Final point.
isolationist. Yep. So I have more points that I'm going to tell later, but more self-reliant makes sense. Isolationist, that's basically becoming a Israeli Groiper. like becoming like a Mamdani or a Nick Fuentes of Israel. So yes, more self-reliant, stronger, yes. Isolationist, no. And cut the I agree with cutting the aid, because there's better ways for Israel and United States to have a meaningful relationship with each other. The aid is, I think, not helpful. The aid actually gives United States too much leverage over Israel. So yeah, cutting the aid might make sense.
I agree with the final point very much. Mossad, and then Joseph, and then Savannah, and then the Jal, and then Cat Lady. Mossad? He's gone?
I think he had to leave.
Oh,
Oh,
Ah,
he had to
okay.
leave.
oh no, he's still here. Oh, never mind.
His beeper
No, I
beeped.
don't see him.
Mossad, where are you?
Oh, he did go.
You
He
mean
went.
he beeped someone else's beeper? He's
Yeah.
Mossad after all.
All right. So, Joseph, please.
You know, the one thing I just definitely disagree with is I don't see the United States, even an anti-Israel president, pulling the same stunt Keir Starmer pulled with Israel just recently, of cutting off all of the British arms sales to Israel, which in turn resulted in Israel literally cutting off all of their terrorist intel to the UK. UK's, to be honest about it, UK's got some really serious internal issues going on right now, and Keir Starmer is a not long for 10 Downing Street. What I because the one of the things about, and Armin hit it right, the United States is a republic. We are not a democracy. We're not a constitutional monarchy. We're a constitutional republic with democratic people who represent us. The president can't act unilaterally. He's going to have to get permission from Congress. And to see a totally anti-Israeli Congress, it's not going to happen. If anybody's been following the current what's been going on right now with redistricting, in that Democrats, even if by some dumb luck of the devil, they get control of the both chambers for both years, they're not going to be able to really do much, because they're not going to have enough of a majority to get stuff passed. Yeah, they'll be able to get simple majority votes, but if it comes to treaties and various other things which require 60 votes in the Senate, they're not going to have it. But based off the data that I'm following right now, going into our midterms, they're not, even if they got it, they'll only have it for the next 2 years, because I can promise you by 2028 it's going to be a red landslide in Congress. And to be honest about it, other than with some outliers like Marjorie Taylor Greene and Matsy, the vast majority of Republicans in Congress are pro-Israel. We understand the relationship, not just the technological sharing between the two nations, but the shared, I don't want to use shared history.
Joseph, final point.
Yeah, I don't see the government being able to do a 180 on Israel at any point in time.